Violet. Oh.
So I'm Violet from Finding Health. I was in Auckland but moved to Tauranga a few months ago. I've got two small boys, 4 and 2, and I'm very passionate. I've got a background in kind of like natural health, and I'm very passionate just about educating around all the ways around natural health.
I'm Sam, or Samantha from OilTribe. I had a radical conversion to oils through my parents, and yeah, I'm just really passionate about natural health and just having options, and when things happen, it's particularly important to have options. And so I love the collaboration that Violet, Claire and I have started this year. We have 3 completely separate doTERRA teams, and we've come together to try and provide really good, consistent workshops with different themes, because our view is that it's all very well having your collection of oils, or having them sitting, but the worst thing is having them sit in a cupboard or a drawer and not feeling empowered and able to use them. So this is about empowering you to use the oils that you already have. So tonight is Shield Your Family. So it is a very pertinent topic here and now. So I'm going to just focus on 2 little things, like kind of housekeeping, and get that out the way before we start on the fun stuff. So Claire, Violet and I are not licensed medical practitioners. So we're essential oil users and very passionate mothers with years of research and experience. So it's really important to note that we're not offering a diagnosis, a cure or treatment on any topic tonight. What we are offering is solutions that have worked for us personally within our own homes. So what we encourage you to do is, when we talk about the different oils, is to look up each oil that we mention on PubMed. So that's PUBMED, pubmed.com. And this is a website where medical studies are published. And you can just put, say, an oil that we talk about into the search bar, and it will bring up all the studies that have been done, published medical studies on that oil, and we just encourage you to draw your own conclusions. We are aiming to be 100% compliant in our language. However, we're human, and we have all had some pretty spectacular experiences with the oils. So if we state something that is not compliant, please be aware that we're going right back to what I've just said, and that we're not licensed medical practitioners, and we're talking about personal experience only. All right, and the second part of that is what we want to do is talk a little bit about oil safety. So we are always about diluting oils, and we're mainly talking about topical use of oils tonight, and that if you're new to oils, that just means using oils on your skin. If you are new to oils or unsure about dilution, we refer you to a dilution chart by the Tisserand Institute. So that's TISSERAND, TISSERANDE Institute. This is a globally recognized institute run by Dr. Robert Tisserand, and this dilution chart is used widely within New Zealand. You are more than welcome, however, to exercise personal responsibility and adjust these dilution ratios to suit you, particularly if you've used essential oils before. However, if you are new and if you're unsure, then we recommend that you stick to the ratios. But we also invite you to refer back to the person who invited you to this call and talk through dilution ratios with them. Okay, so that's compliance and dilution ratios, which are basically our safety mechanism. So we've come up with some awesome, Claire, Violet and I spent a huge amount of time, probably a lot more time than we should, but we are all, we work really well together, and we came up with these really cool options for you in this workshop called Shield Your Family. And they're designed to help with different aspects of shielding your family. And so the first one that I'm going to start with is the Body Boost Roller. So the Body Boost Roller, this one is designed to support your body's own natural immunity. And this is a roller that is designed to be used daily. It's your daily use roller and kind of your foundational roller. It is recommended that you use it probably twice a day, every day. This is just the oil that you're going to use from now until you feel that you don't need to necessarily shield your family again. So this has got 4 different oils in it. So it has 3 drops of each. So it's got 3 drops of frankincense, 3 drops of lemon, 3 drops of On Guard, of course. Oh, Claire, I never gave you your spot on On Guard. I'll give you a gap in between my 2 rollers. On Guard, and then 3 drops of tea tree. So 3 drops of frank, 3 drops of lemon, 3 drops of On Guard, and 3 drops of tea tree. So that makes a total of 12. You're sitting at a 5% dilution ratio at a 5 ml roller. So this is the difference between the 2. It's a bit dark, sorry, in my little hidey hole, but that's a 5 ml roller. And then next to it is the double guy. He's got a black lid on, it's a bit harder to see, 10 ml. So what we're doing is we're working off the 5 ml roller here. So that's a 5% ratio, dilution ratio. If you wanted to use the same drops in a 10 ml, it would just be dropping down to 3%. And this would be, if you wanted to be really, really conservative, this would be safe for anyone from 6 years old upwards. Okay, so On Guard, a protective blend, is a really good foundation. I'll get Claire to talk about it afterwards. It's amazing. It's a protective blend. But all of these oils, frankincense, lemon, On Guard, and tea tree, have been specifically chosen because they work with your body to enhance your body's natural defenses and immunity. So I would, in terms of where you put this, I would reckon that you put this blend under the soles of your feet or up the spine, which is close to the central nervous system. It's a good place to put it. Also base of the skull, at least twice a day. So one of the things that we also need to touch on before I hand over to Claire is that this is quite a stressful time for everyone. I struggle with anxiety, and last week I was just a mess. Much better now after putting some practices in place, but I think it's a very, very stressful time. If you're not necessarily worried about what's happening to us, which I'm actually not, you're worried about the implications on, you know, the wider community and your business. Anyway, there's a lot going on at the moment. So this blend actually has some oils that will support you emotionally as well. So frankincense is a beautiful emotional support. Frankincense is very calming and grounding, and emotionally it is the oil of truth. So frankincense is going to help your emotional state. Being the oil of truth, it's going to give you clarity. And sometimes when we're under this amount of pressure, which we all are as a community, having clarity and being able to see the wood for the trees is actually really important. So frankincense is the first one in this blend that will help you. And the second one is actually tea tree. Tea tree emotionally is the oil of energetic boundaries. And so this will be an excellent oil emotionally. We are likely to be spending a great deal of time in a close confined space with people that we love. And so putting your emotional boundaries in place is probably a really good idea. So it's also important, while we're focusing on the physical aspects of oils, is to really encourage you to use the oils for emotional support as well. I mean, doTERRA have the beautiful proprietary emotional set of 6 different oils, but in this Body Boost roller blend, you can definitely use frankincense and tea tree. Okay, so I will get Claire to talk about On Guard before I go ahead and speak about the SOS body roller.
Okay, so I was just, because obviously today we're looking at DIY options, but I think most of you are aware that there is a whole suite of products that doTERRA do, which utilize the On Guard blend. So this is On Guard. This is the bottle that you would buy, 250 drops in these bottles. And this is a blend of wild orange, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. So this is a blend that's been used by many people for a long, long time. Like, I think initially it's got a nickname of the Thieves Blend, meaning that it was used with robbers putting it all over their body when they were and they robbed the victims of the plague, which isn't very nice thing to do, but they basically, none of them ended up getting unwell. So that's where it first I understand got its notoriety from, of people knowing that they could use the oil to protect themselves in this way. So This is the On Guard blend, and you can use that in many different ways. Like we're talking about the rollable, you can also put it in your diffuser. And the amazing thing about this blend is that you can also use it as a food additive. So it's quite incredible to be able to clean your home, put it in your diffuser, put it on the soles of your children's feet for immunity, and also stop, say, your apples going brown, or some people use it to flavor all kinds of things for your immunity. Now, doTERRA produce these foaming hand wash. I really love this one. It gives a nice soft feel, so you can use the On Guard product and through the hand wash. And when you purchase it, it comes with the pump, so that's ready to go. And I think it comes with, or maybe you can choose one or two. You'll see when you're ordering. But all of these products right now are limited to 2 because there's been such a rush. I think the sales are up like 400%. So you don't have to freak out entirely, because we're going to show you, and there's ways that obviously you can make these yourself. But if you're someone that just wants to get it and have them on hand, especially now, then they are like limited to just 2 at the moment. So there's foaming hand wash. There is On Guard Cleaner Concentrate. This, we've got some, you'll see some amazing graphs around just showing how much this will cover you. If you're using like my cleaner here, I think Violet might correct me because I was doing the maths, but literally you can use this for about 30 of these. This is a 250 ml, and it's 30 mils of the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate goes for a litre of water, right? So it's and it's beautiful. It cleans amazing, clean everything. I use it for all my surfaces. So that's already done for you, cleaner concentrate, and it has a whole 5 ml bottle of On Guard inside it. And there's also a detergent. I feel like I'm on an infomercial, but basically you get the picture. There's a whole range of products that can help your family, and you know, it all helps with the immunity because keeping yourself well. There's the infamous liquid gold that we're going to have to make our own because they've sold out worldwide of this hand sanitizer. And then things that are still in stock, the beadlets, I highly recommend these because you can use them as a hand sanitizer in a pinch. So On Guard beadlets, you can pop them in your hand, but other times they're for taking, you know, ingesting, and you can do that with those beadlets. Each beadlet, they're only tiny, has a 1/4 of a drop of, they're so tiny, right? So even like, maybe older children, just you use your discretion and investigate, but my son would take a couple of these. And then for adults, but this is sold out at the moment, so you'll have to, there's ways you can make this yourself, but that's the On Guard soft gels. So I think I've covered all of the On Guard products. So they're really amazing to use, and in particular, I would like, the cleaner concentrate, because I'm a bit lazy, but I have now been learning how to make these myself.
Claire. Thanks, Claire. I worked out with the cleaner concentrator, did the calculations that if you buy like an eco spray and wipe and you switch over to the On Guard cleaner concentrate, you'll save $117 over the life of the On Guard cleaner concentrate over buying individual eco spray and wipes. So it's pretty good. And it's also a great stain remover. So anyway, okay, so so we did a little pairing of rollers. The Body Boost roller, like I was saying, is your everyday foundational roller with frankincense, lemon, On Guard, and tea tree. Then what we want to do is we've got an SOS body roller. So there are going to be times over the next little while where you may be feeling that under the weather, perhaps, or you need additional protection if you're going out and about. So the SOS body roll is also like / your people roller. And yeah, so it's designed when your body needs extra support. So this one is a little stronger. It has 15 drops in a 5 ml, which is also what's still a 5% dilution ratio. So this one has 3 drops of frankincense, 3 drops of On Guard, of course, 3 drops of oregano. So we've specifically chosen oils now that will respond to, how do I put this? that are specifically chosen to support your body at this time. Okay, so thyme, if you look up thyme, no, so that's oregano, 3 drops of oregano, 3 drops of thyme. I think Violet's going to talk a little bit about thyme. Thyme is amazing. And then you can choose, you can have either 3 drops of copaiba or 3 drops of arbor vitae. If I was to recommend one, I'd recommend arbor vitae. So that is 15 drops in total. 3 drops of frankincense, 3 drops of on guard, 3 drops of oregano, 3 drops of thyme. Oregano and thyme are the 2 really powerful oils at the moment. And then you've got frankincense, on guard, oregano, thyme, and then either 3 drops of copaiba or arbor vitae. Arbor vitae is a very powerful oil. And in fact, when I have a spray that I make up for plane rides, where I spray down the food tray and then the pocket, because they just never get, they're the dirtiest place. The pocket in your seat in front of you, complete tangent, is the dirtiest place in the plane. It's dirtier than the toilet. It's revolting. Anyway, so what I do is I make up, I use On Guard and then boost it with arbor vitae and make up a spray. And I'm not sophisticated about it. I literally, it's the oils and water in a spray and then give it a good shake. It's not a hand sanitizer like Claire's going to talk through with us, but it's pretty effective. Arbor vitae is amazing. Okay, so again, just going through at the 15 drops in your 5 ml is a 5% ratio. If you're new to oils or you're unsure, you want to take it down to a 10 ml roller. And if you have little ones, like if you have smaller than that, just get in touch with the person who referred you and we'll be able to help you come up with the dilution ratio. But less is more with the oils all the time. So I would recommend, again, using this blend under the soles of the feet or up the spine. And this is instead of using the Body Boost roller, you would use this roller instead. They have similar oils that cross over, so you probably don't need to use them the same. Okay, so those are your 2 roller blends. Okay, so I will hand over to Violet.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the Breathe Easy roller, which contains easy ear, frankincense, and eucalyptus. So Sam's already talked about frankincense, but the other great thing about frankincense, it's amazing for breathing. So I love this in the diffuser, or these 2, easy ear and frankincense combined in the diffuser, great for anything breathing, amazing for kids. I often do that combination. So these 3 are all designed to support clear and easy breathing. So anything breath related. Think about easy ear emotionally is the oil of breath. So also from an emotional point of view, again, we come back to it being quite a stressful time. If you're struggling, you can just take the lid off your easy ear and take a few deep breaths. It's going to open the airways, and the act of just slowing down, taking a few deep breaths, getting some oxygen in is really going to help support you. Otherwise, you can also, if you've got a roller version of this, we'll drop a few drops of carrier oil into the hand and then rub together and then do the cup like that. That's really great and kind of like creates more of a powerful injection. And we all know how fast acting our response can be aromatically, straight up like that. So I'm actually going to do a little demo, but I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. So anyway, I've got my roller ball. I'm doing a 10 ml. So I've got my little label on already. So always remember to label your bottles. If you're reusing, I just wanted to mention, if you're reusing a roller, you can get these little oil keys or, you know, different ones. And they're really great, not only for getting the roller top off, like for reusing your bottle. Obviously, we want to encourage to reuse, but great for getting it off and also for putting it on. The central one in the middle, that's if you've got like a tough roller or you just want to get on top of it and not press down with your hand, you know, like your skin onto the roller ball, then you can use the central roller to press it in. So it's really easy. that's just a cool little tool to have if you don't have one. So I've got my carrier oil, fractionated coconut oil. I'm just going to drop about 3/4 of the way, because you can always top it up. If you overfill it, then you can't go backwards, okay? So I'm doing, the recipe was 5 drops of each into a 5 ml. So I'm going to do 10 drops of each into a 10 ml. So, so don't be afraid to use your oil. Some people who are brand new, they're like, how do I drop it? Just hold it slightly above. There are actually 2 little ear holes in here. If you look, if you kind of angle it right, it will drop out at the perfect consistency, because it allows the air up the other hole. But really, it doesn't matter too much, and they all drop at a different rate. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So watch those citrus oils, because those ones tend to drop really fast. And then you've got your woody resinous oils, which are very thick and tend to drop a lot slower. So, you know, you've got your sandalwood and your vetiver, where you might get a bit of bicep action going on because you are holding it up there for so long. But I will show you a trick. Okay, so I've got mine. Now mine is almost at the top, so that's actually perfect. So you can see, well, you might not be able to see where the oils are. They sit at the top. So I'm going to put my roller on, and then put your lid on, shake it thoroughly, and then always label it. So, you know, I've kept 1 or 2 that I forgot to label, always thinking I'm going to remember what that is, and I never did. And then I just always go back to it and smell it. It's my reminder. Now, a great place to put this. So all of these are all breathing ones. Oh, another nice thing to do is eucalyptus. If you drop a couple of drops of eucalyptus in the corner of your shower in the morning, the steam from the shower comes up and is really great for the airways as well. That's just another little way to use it. And the one trick I wanted to tell you about the thick oils, if you roll the oils, if it's a really thick resinous one and not coming out well, if you just roll it between your hands to warm it up, warming it up actually helps it flow out of the bottle a bit better. So the breathe easy, thinking about where you want to apply it. The chest is a really great place, up the back of the neck, anywhere where we're breathing it. And also some people even put a little bit under the nose. Otherwise, the same trick, which I'll do now to show you, just put it in the palm of your hand, roll it around a few times, rub together, and then cup like that. And it actually is, that's a really nice way to use it as well. It's diluted, it's safe. So that's your breathe easy. Just think anything breathing, breath related, opening the airways. In the same sense, can also support sleep because it's opening the airways. And emotionally, because of the, you know, feeling maybe a little bit overwhelmed, this is a great one because of the easy air. So I'm going to move to the throat spray. Now I'm not going to make this, but actually it's quite timely because I do want to make one for my hubby. So we've just been using these 30 ml glass bottles. You can make it into anything you like. Another hack you can do is reuse your old bottles and just put a spray top on it. So if you use something that's got one of the oils in the recipe, then you don't even need to clean it out. So in this recipe for the throat spray, I have made this a couple of times before, which I love. We have On Guard, which you know about, tea tree, which we've talked about, lime, thyme, and myrrh, which I love for all things in the mouth. This is amazing to support the body's natural healing process. Myrrh, like one way I've used myrrh inside the mouth is any, how do I put this, discomfort areas, when you've got something going on, when people get run down, you can put a couple of drops of carrier oil into your hand, a drop of myrrh, just dab it onto the inside of your mouth. Hopefully people can read through the lines of what I'm talking about there. Lime is great for also for breathing and also for loosening things up. So this is a really great one, and obviously it's cleansing. We know those citrus oils are cleansing. Now, thyme, I have been reading some pretty amazing stuff about thyme. So I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you know how, like, anything about a virus, but a virus basically has a glycoprotein layer. It's not actually on the outside, it's part of the outside of it. And there's some pretty amazing research around thyme and how it can disrupt and interact with that glycoprotein from the virus. So again, head back to PubMed to check that out. So this one is great. You can it's just the water, and the recipe is on the sheet, but it is 5 drops of On Guard, lime, and tea tree, and 3 drops of thyme and myrrh. So the one thing I want to mention is thyme is a hot oil, much like oregano, clove, things like that. So it might be warming in the throat, okay? If you feel like you need to rinse it out with a little bit of, you can actually just swallow a little bit of carrier oil afterwards if you're finding it quite warming. But really, it's amazing to support discomfort around the throat area. So, and really you can do a few, like I do, like 2 or 3 or 4 sprays at a time, and you can do that really as often as you feel you need to, but you know, every hour or 2 hours, what you feel most comfortable with. Right, thanks. Claire, is it back to you?
Yes, I think it is. Actually, that made me remember, I did forget one thing, which is I think one of the most popular On Guard things. So the toothpaste, which when you first try it, you might think I thought it was weird, but now I love it. And if I try other toothpaste, it just tastes basically fake. How many people have tried On Guard toothpaste? You guys tried it? Oh, cool. Yeah, so you know what I'm... So get some and try it, but it has myrrh in there, and myrrh and clove and wild orange and cinnamon and rosemary. So obviously it has the On Guard, but it also has myrrh. Cool. So what I'm going to talk about is the hand sanitizer. And I did use a lot up. In fact, I had so much that it's in my fridge, and I had it in a container, but then I was worried that it looked like orange juice, because basically I made so much and I used all my bits that didn't work and put them all in a container, and because it was orangey colored because of the On Guard. And then I thought that would be terrible if my son would drink that, because in the interest of research, I had this product in my house. It doesn't really sit right with me because it says poison around the top and flammable. So I was worried I was going to set my kitchen on fire, and I don't really like having things in the house. It makes you realize, I was kind of nervous about it, but I used to have everything under my sink used to say poison. It's really amazing, right? And so anyway, I did get this because, as you guys will have known, that generally speaking, sanitizers, and it seems like specifically in the US, to be able to call it a sanitizer, it needs to be at least, I think it's 60 is what, the 66% or 64% alcohol. So, or maybe it is, Sam, maybe it's 60. So the On Guard product, it actually does have this ethyl alcohol in it. And they had explained it to us, though, that the reason it's there's 2 reasons. One is because then they can make the claims that they want to make about the sanitizer. But the other thing is for the more drying effect. People are habitual to a sanitizer that has that drying effect. But they're scientists at doTERRA, and based on the studies, if you look up what On Guard can do, they would feel comfortable doing what Sam does, and a lot of people do, just using On Guard with water. So you can, in that instance, do that, and we've got some options which I can send out in the email to you after with these recipes. But you can basically just have, say you were doing it in like a 30 ml, you might use you'd put water and then put in here 20 to 30 drops of On Guard. Okay, so if you are somebody who does want to avoid alcohol and you are feeling confident about the On Guard product, you could do that. If you want to have more of a drier hand feel, or if you're making a gift for somebody and they're okay with having alcohol and they specifically want alcohol because they think that it doesn't work, you know, and if it doesn't have it, then you can look to have the alcohol. So I couldn't source the grain alcohol or the ethyl alcohol that is in this product, which according to what we've read would seem for some reason to have not such a strong smell, like not be so overpowering. Like this one, I'm like literally feeling like I nearly got drunk or knocked myself out by using it. So all of these products I did get from Pure Nature, and they seem really good. They've got lots of different options, but that's isopropyl alcohol, which is what a lot of people will be using. So one thing I would say is that if you wanted to and you were just having a go yourself, think about potentially using an alcohol like vodka, or there seems to be something in the States people use called Everclear, or you might know, does someone want to suggest something high proof alcohol in New Zealand? Not wanting to call you out as like a drinker that knows about it, but you might just know. Does someone here know a particularly high proof alcohol that they'd suggest? Anybody? You can put it in the comments. I know my friend held up one the other day that she'd got somewhere that was 80 proof. So the thing about that is obviously then you're not likely to get to the 60%. But what I found when I used vodka is that, well, you had the alcohol, but the aroma was not overbearing, and it was a lot easier on, you know, just didn't smell like you were using some kind of poison on your hands. So that's an option to do that instead of the alcohol, but bearing in mind that the reason why people have the alcohol is to be able, if you were, you know, definitely people who are selling the products in New Zealand as a hand sanitizer. If you were going to do it without alcohol, you'd want to call it like a hand mist or something like that to cover yourself, that you weren't making a claim that it was a sanitizer. But like I say, I'd feel comfortable with the On Guard. So where we ended up getting the kind of middle product that makes these sanitizers I find really nice is this witch hazel. And so I'll tell you the recipe that I did find that and you'll get these, but I'll just tell you them now. So the basic one is this is for in a 30 ml bottle, but you're going to have 4 teaspoons of grain of alcohol. So 5, 10, that's 20 ml. So for each teaspoon is 5 ml. So I've done it in teaspoons, but if you're someone who wants to work in milliliters, you can just convert it. So 4 teaspoons of alcohol, half a teaspoon of distilled water, a 1/4 teaspoon of, I've used fractionated coconut oil because you're likely to have it, but you could use aloe. The point there that I found is when you're making small quantities, it's super tempting to add in extra of that thing, because like for example, I just bought 500 grams of aloe. I'm like, I gotta use this up. And so I put way too much in, and I made a whole lot of quite sticky, glunky stuff. So you don't need very much of the softener, which is why you'd add, you know, the aloe, or so 1/4 teaspoon of fractionated coconut oil, and then 20 to 30 drops of On Guard. Obviously that's your preference, but that's what we found works well. So that's like a basic one with alcohol. The one that I like the best that had alcohol is 3 teaspoons of alcohol and 1 teaspoon of witch hazel. So the witch hazel, how many people have used witch hazel? Have you, used that? So cool. And it's, I guess it's kind of like a woody smell, and it's an astringent, and it's, people use it for a whole variety of things, and I'd never really heard about it. So that's a bit of a gap, but I really like it. So basically it has a consistency that feels like alcohol, well, like the alcohol did, but much nicer, and also slightly drying. And that's what I'll get onto as to the pros and cons, just so you know about that. But just quickly for the actual recipe that I like the best, it was, this is with the alcohol, 3 teaspoons of alcohol, 1 teaspoon witch hazel, 1 teaspoon distilled water, and 1/4 teaspoon of what you're going to have to make it softer. So we used apple extract. Now this is because I found this at Pure Nature, and we were trying to mimic the On Guard one, because if you look up the recipe of the On Guard hand sanitizer, they have apple extract in there. So we were kind of super sleuthing to try and recreate it. And this is the apple extract, which appears to be the similar what they use. But I suspect that this one from Pure Nature's got slightly more glycerol in it because it's hard to use it without making the On Guard go sticky. Well, sorry, the sanitizer. So 3 teaspoon alcohol, 1 teaspoon witch hazel, 1 teaspoon distilled water, 1/4 teaspoon apple extract, and then your 30 grams of On Guard. Now, you can totally play around with that. Like you could just go for 4 teaspoon of witch hazel or 5, you know, leave out, you just, those are what you can play with, but that's what I came up with that I like the best. And then for one that doesn't have any alcohol, I found that using 4 teaspoon of witch hazel, 1 teaspoon of distilled water, and I mean, I'm apt to like just cheat and just use water from the tap, but the reasoning behind distilled water is that if you're using it, there's no preservatives in the non-alcohol one, so you're going, if you're sitting there, so most people are going to use, if you're making the sanitizers in small batches, you'll use it all up, so it's not really an issue, but otherwise either distilled water or water that you've boiled and let cool is the best. So 4 teaspoon of witch hazel, 1 teaspoon distilled water, 1/4 teaspoon of aloe, that's optional for a softer feel, and then 20 to 30 drops of On Guard. Other people make recipes up that are based on aloe, like for children, so they'll have mostly aloe and then add in some of the other ingredients. And also you can do what Sam was talking about, just use water, like I said, and add the On Guard. So at the end of the day, I really was loving this witch hazel, but I'll just tell you quickly what are we at for time, is that, so it seems it's got a lot of benefits, reduces skin irritation, which is great, because quickly the problem with the alcohol is it's not, it can cause skin irritation and it can be disruptive to our microbiome. Like it's not obviously helpful for our good bacteria and things we've got going on there. So you're kind of trying to kill one set of bacteria and things going on, and then you're, you know, not necessarily being helpful to what's in your own body. So it's always a trade-off, figuring out what you're comfortable with, but that is the issue with the alcohol. And then on the other hand, with the witch hazel, it's actually good for skin irritation. Also, I'm reading here, it can treat hemorrhoids. So there you go. Fights acne, relieves inflammation, and soothes the sore throat. So multiple uses. But then I was like, what is this wonder product? Why is but this lady had an article, why witch hazel is a problem for the skin. So I thought it was a bit of a clickbait. But what she's saying really, which does make sense, she says, okay, so you can get witch hazel with or without alcohol. And the reasoning for that is that witch hazel has natural tannins, which is part of what, that makes it work and have astringency. But when you distill it with the alcohol, that will take the tannins out, which is kind of good, but then you'll get the alcohol. So the tannins are sensitizing, and so they're not, apparently, that's not the great bit of them. And then if you use the alcohol, which does reduce them, then you get the alcohol. So that's just a little explanation. You can research more about witch hazel. Overall, I would feel comfortable using it, and I would feel a lot more comfortable using witch hazel than alcohol. And so when you use the water, you do still have quite a wet feel on your hands, and a lot of people won't feel like it's really a sanitizer. But if you make it with witch hazel, which is cheap as well, so those recipes that we just went through, generally speaking, the most expensive part of the recipe is the On Guard essential oil. Usually the carriers, when I added them up, depending on the ratios, it was all about 50 cents to $1. And then you've got your bottle that you buy or recycle, like Violet was saying. That's what I did, just that's super easy, put the On Guard, and we sell these. We'll put the links in your email. You can buy these at Green Mandarin shop. So now I lost my train of thought. Basically, it's easy to make these sanitizers, and so just I would say have a play, but maybe not as big a play as I have, because now I've got like about 500 mils of alcohol mixed up in my fridge. So I need to find somebody who's wanting to use that and will be able to use it. But does anybody have any questions? Oh, I was going to say, you'll get the recipes so you can try which one you like. But if you have a question specifically about the hand sanitizer, or because it's 8:30, that's good if we've got any questions at all about anything we've talked about today. anybody? Michelle, I'll pick on you. Have you been trying to make hand sanitizers?
I've used it with witch hazel before, and I love witch hazel, but all of my stuff's in storage still. So yeah, I might have to come around and use all of yours in your fridge.
Yeah, I need someone to take me. I've got how much of this? Oh my gosh, I bought 2 liters of alcohol. I am like, yeah, and I think there's different kinds of aloe, because I seem to have got this aloe that's really thick. So that's, I don't know, I'll have to figure out something else I can do with aloe. But I did get, the jojoba, that was good. I got from Pure.
Jojoba's lovely. Jojoba's lovely.
Yeah.
Have you got aloe powder or aloe like juice?
No, but I saw somebody use that and I was like, oh my goodness, that's the trick. Powdered aloe.
Powdered aloe is still available on Pure Nature.
I think that's what you need, because you don't want it too sticky. And I'm telling you, it's really hard to make yourself. What happened at the last workshop, I put in half a teaspoon of the aloe, and then we poured it into the thing, and then we were saying, this is great, we've got the best one. And then I looked back and basically 3/4 of the aloe was still in the container. So like literally we'd only used a smidgen of it, and it was amazing. So I think that's the tricky thing when you're making really small quantities of things. It's hard to, like you're tempted to put a little bit more in, or it's hard to measure it out. But you definitely don't need very much of the thing that makes the hand soften. And anyway, with witch hazel, it's just nice just by itself. So I think, this lady who was having, the one person I found who had a little bit of a problem with it, she's saying it's fine anyway for short-term use, just not for long-term use, by which case I figured that we can definitely use it over the next couple of months.
Okay. Do we want to do the draw?
I had a question.
Oh, yeah.
So Shannon's question, Claire, was what's the best way to clean used rollers or to reuse them?
To clean, the rollers. Well, I just soak them in hot water, and then I guess I put them in, I usually swizzle them around with something like this. The reality is so many of the rollers I have, I'm always just making the same one, like topping them up again with what I used before. But yeah, something like On Guard Cleaner Concentrate, and then you might run them through if you want the dishwasher just to get them extra hot, but otherwise just in the hot water. It's these, if you want to take the labels off, they are, once you get, apparently it's better to start on the side with the barcode for some reason. But anyway, you pull those off, but it's often a lot of sticky residue. But then just use your lemon oil and soak them, and then the lemon wipes it off clean. And then they're actually really lovely. And I'm so glad I've kept a huge bag of mine, which I had not used. So that will be something. It saves you money, and they look cute, especially if you can reuse any of the ones like Violet was saying that are in your recipes, then you'll be good to go. And what?
Okay, should we do the drawer? Who wants to?
I didn't even know we do we have a drawer?
I think so. Violet, are you doing it?
I was muted, sorry. What I've done is I've taken a screenshot of everyone here. So I'm not sure if it's easiest if we send out the winner. We're going to do the draw after this. Everyone who's on live now will go in the draw. I think that's probably the easiest. We might do 2 winners.
And did you make sure, because I'm like just noting this because it's like awesome to see everybody here. We are actually filling up 2 pages of Zoom. So
yeah, cool.
Next time bring your friends, and it's just fun. Like we can do, like if you have something you're really passionate, want to ask questions about, just don't be shy. This is your chance to ask us a question, and if we don't know, we can go and look it up. One thing is we've got the Green Mandarin. That's where Violet and I sell all the kinds of accessories that you could need to make these things. So the blue and amber bottles, different sizes, the spray tops or the serum tops, which are great, and also all kinds of resources like these books, you know, these kind of things that can help you with your oils. Obviously you can use, you guys know there's apps and free apps, and there's so much available that's free, but I do find it helpful to have a book. And also I find it good for converting guys, because a lot of them don't want to go online and look up oils, but if they've got a book hanging out on the coffee table and they flip through it and see that it talks about like balding or some problem that they actually have, beard oil. That's actually trending right now, beard oil. It's a thing. People are into it. So it was really great. Do you guys have, you sure nobody else, I'm anxious that nobody else might have a question they want to ask us.
No, that was great.
Cool. All right, do you guys, Sam, Violet, do you want to finish up with anything?
No, just thanks everyone for coming on, and I hope you enjoyed it, learned something new. As we've said, don't be afraid to ask or go back to the person who invited you for more questions. And we'll be sending out the email with the recipe sheet again, just in case you've not seen it, or who's the drawer and any other information, and the link to Green Mandarin as well.
Yeah, awesome.
I do remember one thing. Sorry, I'll tell you, Sam, is that we're going to do these again, right? So we have one actually next week. If we go, are we doing that one? Yes.
Yeah, I've got people wanting the skin one. So yeah, I was just going to say, look out for more, because this is a way to communicate with each other currently. You know, we're not sure how things are going to develop, so this is a really safe space for everyone.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much, guys.
Right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Stop recording.